Hello YouTube, welcome to Round Two Woodworks, 7th grade woodworking project. I believe this is part 3. Special hello to my mom and dad, hope you're well, love you both. Last time we visited, we planed this board smooth. This is the inside of the board where it was cut. This was the outside, supposed to be S2S, the one of the squared sides of the S2S. So we planed this down. I checked it real carefully to the light to make sure it's flat all the way, that there's no rocking. So you know, in part 2 or 1, when I was doing the sawing, I think I might have got a C on that. But I think the planing, I think the teacher would have given me a strong B. Now, you know, one thing about the board, before you get to really smoothing it down to know where it's flat and not, you know, lay it on a flat surface and you know, see if it rocks in any direction. If it's rocking from any way, you know it's not flat. Well, this board's perfectly flat. Now the square on two sides side, if I put it down there, you know, it's rock solid this way, but you know, there's quite a wobble in it this way. So you know, what that means this way is this is high and this is high. So the plane has to go this way, or one of these is high. What I like to do is put it on the bench this way and see if it rocks. See, this rocks this way. But it really doesn't, it rocks a little. So this is heavy this way, and I have marked it where we need to plane it off before we get going. So today, in today's project, what we'll do is, what I've already done is I've measured in 5 inches, and then I drew a knife line. I put that white pencil so you could see it easier. So what this will be sawed off, and this will be flipped around and put in a dado. This will all go out here, you know, the dado. And then so this will be the back, and then on the other side I measured in 2 inches for the foot, and then I measured in 1 3/4 inches. I believe this will be one of the edges of the dado. I've already started putting the knife line in it, and that's what we'll do today. So I'm going to get this board a little flatter, and then the plan is you know, to saw this baby out. I've got all my tools here ready. For tidying up, I've got a little Stanley 9.5, beautiful little hand plane. This is one, you know, I got 3 new tools in my plane cabinet. One was that number 40, and if you do a lot of plane work, that scrub plane is beautiful for taking it down fast. So I really recommend it if you're a hand planer. You'll have to spend about 50 bucks for a pretty good one. I mean, if you go 100 bucks, it better be a real good one. So, and then the other plane that's new to my cabinet is that 62 low angle, and I really like that a lot too. It's real good for cross grain and in grain. And it's heavy, it's got bulk to it, so I think I'm going to be using that plane quite a bit. Problem with that plane, it's expensive. If you want to add that to your cabinet, you're going to, you know, for a good one, you're going to look around 200 bucks, you know, so prepare for that. And then the third new plane that I've got is this old Stanley 78, or Stanley 45. And this is an old sweetheart. So this is 1919 to 1930, somewhere in there. looks kind of, I bet you back in the day that looked space age as could be. This is a Philister plane. It's got notches there for making the dados. We'll be making this dado here with this plane. First time I've ever used it, so I hope I don't screw up my grade with the teacher. So anyway, and then I've also got my little 71 router on this one. On this dado over here, we will do this by hand. We will use a back saw and a chisel to remove the dado, and that'll be another way. And then this will clean it up. Now I'm not real good at sharpening, you know, router plane blades. They're at a weird angle. I've got this semi-sharp, but I need practice, I'm not gonna lie. But I want to use it just because this is a all hand plane thing, and I got it. This is only like a, you know, it's not even a quarter inch, this blade. I want, you know, 3/8 or even a 1/2 inch blade. What's strange about planes, this router, you could pick up, you know, I got a good deal on this for like 30 bucks. But if I wanted to buy another blade for it, it's going to cost me 25 or 30 bucks just for the blade. So if you ever want a router plane, I suggest if you see one that's 30 that you like, and you see one that's 50 you like, and the 50 has 3 blades, boy, grab the blades are what's expensive. So keep that in mind. Alrighty, I think we can get to work here. We'll start, I guess I'll have to start by sawing this off right here. So I'll get everything ready. Actually, no, I wanted to make this level. So I'm going to take my number 3, and I'm just going to take whispers off this over here. You know, a nice sharp plane, boy, it just makes the wood almost shine, look wet. It's beautiful. All right, so let's see how this does now. Just a little bit more. Take it down off here, I think. Perfect. Okay, we got that right. Now this is going to be the bottom of the book stand, but I still want to make sure it's semi. I remember one thing the teacher told us. You know, unless you're a craftsman in 1900 where you did planing every day, you know, it's probably pretty unlikely that you'll run a straight edge down there and not see any light at all. You know, if you not see any light at all, you're a craftsman. But if you do see light, you know, if there's some light, let's just say if you can slide a very thin piece of paper under it, he would call that the Grand Canyon, and you get marked down quite a bit. So when you take it up for his inspection, make sure that there's not a whole lot of light showing. All right, we're real good there. Now we're going to saw this piece, and I'm going to use this little saw here. It's nice and sharp. I just sharpened it. But you know, like I look at saws kind of like snow skis. You know, the shorter snow ski, you can turn sharper and have more control, but you go slower. Big skis, long skis, you don't have as much control, but you can haul butt. So I wanna control this saw. So let me get to it, and I will saw this, and we'll go from there. Okay. Okay, here we are. Get ready to saw this. I've got my old Stanley here just to give me some reference, so I know what I'm doing. Want to just start it out. I'm going to go right down the middle of the line. I'm going to let the saw do all the work. I'm going to try to keep that saw as level as I can. So, you know, my sister tells me she has a tablet so she can show my mother these little vids, and I'm really happy about that. So I say hello to my mother, I love you. You know, the other day somebody, on this little shelf I was building, you know, I said, you know, I gave it to my mother for a Christmas present, and she kept it till the day she died, but I always say hello to my mother, you know, and they're wondering why, and you know, I don't see anything big about it at all. You know, Barbara, my mother too, came into my life when I was like 18, so I was pretty much grown up. So I was just, you know, my mother passed away, and my dad took on a new woman. So I was kind of happy for my dad. And, you know, she was like 180 degrees from my mother one. You know, my mother one was, you know, a homebody. You know, really never worked a few jobs, you know, but, you know, mother number two, you know, she was a successful, you know, secretary, you know, executive secretary. She, you know, she knew how to run a family on her own, raise a daughter on her own. So back in the day, she was kind of ahead of her time. You know, tall and slim, very classy looking lady. Drove a 68 Mustang, brand new Mustang with a Landau top, so right there made her pretty cool. Because I've always, you know, round two is woodworks, round one's automobiles. So anyway, she was a classy lady. Good. Now this, what this will do is go into the dado like such. And I'll do that right now. This has got to be, I should have leveled this out. I didn't square the ends out before I did. I should have done that. Maybe we'll get to that next time. So anyway, we've sawed it. We're going to put the dado in. Let me set this up and we'll get back to you. Alrighty, here we are ready to make the first dado. So I cut the board off, and then I'm going to put it right in here. What I did is I put a rule down here up against the line, brought another T-square down, snugged it right up to it, so I know that that's the exact shape of the should be the exact shape of the wood. Now I'm going to, if I can get my knife in there, make a knife mark. And then after I make the knife mark, I'm going to chisel it out so my saw's got some place to run so I don't screw up the sides. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing. You know, back to my mother, I was remembering, you know, when she first came into our lives, you know, I was getting ready to go to work for Edison during summer school college, and there was this beautiful 55 T-bird up on the lot for sale, $1,000. It was, you know, back then that was still a pretty good buy for a 55 T-bird. Not a great buy, but a pretty good buy. So we were at the dinner table one night, and I asked my dad, you know, to loan me $1,000. You know, of course, my dad laughed. You know, but Barbara, she said, "Well, I may loan you the $1,000." I almost had a heart attack, and I think my dad did. You know, mother number one, you know, they were always in lockstep. If one said one thing, you know, it was the other, and that's it, you know. That's why if I ever went up to my dad and said, "Hey, Dad, can I go swimming?" And he says, "Well, check with your mother." To me, that meant he didn't care. So the way I used it, I'd go to my mother and say, "Hey, Dad says it's you know, he doesn't mind if I go swimming, but check with you first." And you know, so they were always in lockstep. So that usually worked for me. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take these little things out here. I think I'm not going to use that. I think I'm going to just wiggle it. That's better. So when she said she may loan me the money, I think it startled my dad as much as it did me. Now they may have had this planned, you know, that they do it so maybe I'd like Barbara more or something, but if it did, it worked. I gotta say that, but you know, she was cool about it. She knew work. You know, I worked at the same company, so she knew paydays and everything like that. She said, "Well, if we set something up on a pay, will you pay me back? We promised to pay me back." I go, "Oh, yeah." And she looks at my dad and says, "Well, the young man said he'd pay me back, and I'm going to take him as his word. And I'm going to take him as his word as long as his word's good. And when it's not good, I will never take him for his word." And I thought that's pretty cool, Barbara. Really cool. And I wanted to make sure I paid her back. And that's just one of the things Mom too did for me. I mean, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have this house. And I know it. If it wasn't her, she had this is before computers, way before. She had a budgeting method that was brilliant. And if I wouldn't have had that, she wouldn't have taught me that, I'd have never been able to, I wouldn't have got this house without her, and I would have never been able to keep this house without her. So she's done a lot for me, Mother, too. So when people say, "Oh, that's your stepmother," I say, please don't use step in any of my mother's names unless you say a step above, because that's what they are. I love them both. So anyway, I'll quit ramming on. What I'm doing is I'm just making a little notch here with a very sharp chisel on very hard wood. Give my saw something to run in so this edge is nice and straight. And I'm sweating all over it. It's 89 at 11 in the morning. So I'm done for the day, I think, for outside. So it's ready. What we're going to do next time is we will take the saw and run it down this edge, keeping that edge straight. Then we will take the chisel, not this chisel, it's too wide, but we'll take a chisel and hog that down, and then we'll take the 71 and clean it up. So anyway, Round Two Woodworkers, 3rd grade or 7th grade woodworking project. We're getting ready to finish the dado on the next go around. I thank you very much. I wish you all a good day, and see you next time.